We're going to talk all about ambition meets ambitions, the truth about being a power couple. What is your biggest superpower?
My biggest superpower is strategy, being able to look at a situation and develop a good plan to move forward.
Absolutely. I concur. I guess I'm on the receiving end of that strategy. All right. So let's just kick it off and I want to hear your definition of ambition. And yeah.
Ambition is a goal for your life outside of the ordinary, extra special. Meaning,
Okay.
in general, everyone has an expectation to live and work. That's a part of all of our lives. But ambition, meaning I'm going to be intentional about what I do, and I have an expectation of something larger than a standard life.
When you meet ambitious, when ambition meets you or you meet ambition, you won't be able to get to the next place. It can't even be considered ambitious if you're not willing to put in the work to get to the desired destination. I can remember what I was looking for in a husband. I wanted that husband to be very smart and have dreams for the future, hopes for the future. I knew me. My goal, back then, was always to become a very successful entrepreneur or successful in my career, become a multimillionaire, all those things. And so I knew me, and I knew I needed somebody to match my ambition, to match my drive. And when I found you, I was like, yes, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. For a fact, I made the right decision with us getting married, but that me wanting that and choosing somebody like me who's ambitious, has that drive, we're going to get into what that then looks like. In reality, when you were looking for your perfect, and I say perfect because we know that it's not perfect, but when you were looking for your spouse, what were your requirements that you had in the beginning?
I'm just looking for somebody who understood me, that I can vibe with, and that we could grow together, but not necessarily them being ambitious.
Okay. See, that's so interesting. Like, I think maybe it's a male female kind of thing, because I think that women have a different list than men a lot of times. I mean, I'll say this: a lot of times women have a list that is full of physical attributes. They got to be tall, they have to be dark, or either light skin, whatever you like. They got to make a lot of money, they got to drive a certain car, they got to have a house and stuff like that. But for me, although I had some of those things, some of those requirements in my life, the main thing I wanted was somebody to be smart, because I knew if I married somebody smart, then together we would be able to make it.
Smart was on my list. I mean, it was a mandatory that I have to be with somebody who's intelligent, because that's intelligent. That just wouldn't work if they weren't. But intelligence and ambition are two separate things.
I agree. There are certain things that you need to know when it comes to getting a relationship. Number one is, are you guys equally yoked? I also wanted to know if you were wanting to get married. Neither one of us had been married before. And for me, it wasn't worth the time to spend and pour into a relationship if the person who I was, in a relationship with didn't have the same goals. And so we had those same goals. Number three, if you wanted to have children. And I, at the time was a single mom. And so Tamazi was my son. And so you would have had to become, and you did become, an instant father. But I wanted to know if you wanted to have more children, because that was a dream of mine, and you did. And now we have Walter and Mackenzie. Number four, what was your financial acumen? Could we balance each other out with our finances. If I'm a spender and you're a saver, then that could be a problem, which it ultimately did become a problem because I was a spender. And then number 5, what's your drive and ambition? What's your dreams? You had to have a dream. You had to have a dream that was bigger than where we were at the moment. I mean, we were just starting out in our careers. I was still in school. I was in grad school at UGA when we first met. And I knew that I wanted to do something, more with my life. And so I knew that ambition or drive or the need to want to be successful was on my list. And so those 5 things, when we met, you checked off all those 5 things. And so that's how I kind of graded the ability for us to move forward in our relationship. So, yeah.
The biggest misconception I had about the idea of, oh yeah, we both ambitious, so that means we match, ultimately ends up being becoming the biggest stumbling block, because ambition requires attention, time, resources, just as much as a partner, just as much as a child. And then when you try to balance that between 2 people, your time and resources automatically become constrained.
We did bump heads a lot of the times because I wanted to do what I wanted to do in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, and you wanted the same things because you had and still have those same goals. So where did we end up at?
For a lot of years, I laid down my ambition and supported your stuff until I decided that you have to go do your thing and I have to do my thing.
We were at this place. We were at a crossroads where we were trying to figure out, where do we go with this ambition? And you're like, I already packed up my whole life, because you had the comic books, you had so many things that paintings and drawings and all this kind of stuff that were a part of you that I never really got to see. Where were you at in that moment in your life?
I was just trying to figure out what's the next step, because I had become stagnant, and just trying to figure out what is the next move, because what was happening just wasn't getting us where either one of us wanted to be.
Did you feel at that moment resentment towards me?
No.
Okay.
I mean, a part of being married is packing up your old life and figuring out what your new life is.
Yeah.
So the process and the action was natural. What I had to figure out is what I really wanted to be, and that was a whole separate thing from that.